Hi everybody, Millbee here with more Katawa Shoujo. Yay! Oh. Right, so let's go back one scene and just read this. So we just left the room after that amazingly obnoxious speech. I'm eating grapes. I'm nomming on grapes until tuna pasta's ready. I catch up to Rin, who left the club room just a moment earlier. So we're walking down the stairs to the ground floor while I try to go over Nomiya. I just think Nomiya's. My name is Nomiya. That was gross. Nomi Nom's passionate speech about art. And Rin seems to be lost in thought. Not an unusual state for her, I've learned. But something about her expression makes me feel uneasy. Penny for your thoughts?
Penny for your thoughts, governor! Fair a coin for old ex-slapper. Fair a coin for old ex-slapper.
That'd be too cheap. That'd be too cheap. Cheap. You're just overpricing your thoughts. I wouldn't be able to sell them anyway. I'm not sure what I'm thinking yet. Yeah, that'd be fraud too. Like stealing candy from a baby. That's theft, not fraud. I have to think about what I think. Is this about what the teacher said? Getting your work put on display and all that? She doesn't answer, but stops in her tracks as we reach the lobby. We're the only people around, so it's very quiet. Footsteps echo from a few floors up as someone hurries along a hallway. I think I'm going to go somewhere else. Somewhere elsewhere? I don't know what to say. I think she really is troubled. Want company? I can't promise much help with the thinking, but it's not like I have much else to do. And I'm supposed to do some light exercise. Like, I got nothing else to do, I'll come with you. If you like. Rin leads me outside to the wall behind the dormitories. There's a small black gate there, made from the same wrought iron as the main gate. It leads to the shadowy woodland park behind the school. The gate is rusty, as if it hasn't seen much use. However, it sits open, so we pass through. It's not forbidden for students to leave the grounds, but somehow I feel a little uneasy. A path leads deeper into the forest. Tell Zelkova, I love her. Tall Zelkova and maple trees rustle in the wind, their canopies creating patches of chill air hanging in the places where the shadows fall. The forest smells strongly of earth. No. I almost feel cold, even though the midsummer day is as hot as ever. This forest smells like trees. You smell like people. Your dog smells like dog. You look like Snoopy and that makes me smile. You have smelly dog farts. Rin trudges ahead like a sleepwalker. Sure-footed, but with no apparent destination in mind. Her thoughts seem to be somewhere else. I follow a few steps behind, taking more care to watch where my feet land. I shaved the other day. Can you see? I don't like it. I don't think it suits me. I think I suit having some, scraggy facial hair. Even as pubic as it looks. I don't like being clean-shaven anyway. The path follows the land uphill at a low angle, sometimes making little detours downhill before climbing back upward. The muted brown and grey trunks line the path on both sides, peppered with ferns and overgrowth. Other undergrowth. That's like total opposite of what I meant to say. After a little while, I start getting worried. The path is still wide and clear, so there's no chance of getting lost, but it doesn't look like we have any particular destination. Oh no, we're lost in the forest. We're lost. We're lost in the forest. No. There's nothing wrong with a bit of aimless wandering around, but I don't want to go so far that I get too tired to walk back. I'm starting to get a little winded and my legs feel heavy. I want to stop and get a chance to catch my breath and rest my legs, but Rin keeps on going. Where are we going? Or are we going anywhere at all? Worry tree. I see. So, what exactly is the worry tree? It's just a tree. Like this. She stops in front of a particularly large maple that might or might not be the worry tree. Its lush green leaves sway lightly in the breeze, blowing through the small clearing we entered. I guessed as much. There are people who believe that you must come here to wallow in misery if you are miserable. If you are miserable, only by people, I mean me. And the tree isn't really called anything. So, if you're miserable, you talk to a tree about it? No. What? You can't talk to trees. What do you think I am, crazy? No, I didn't mean it like that. Or maybe you talk to trees. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that you are crazy, even though you probably are if you talk to trees. I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it in either case. People will think you are a weird person. Well, so coming from you. No, I just forget it. She looks mildly confused, for which I don't blame her at all. She tilts her head a little to the side, expression melting back to her usual one. All right, I'm good at forgetting things. So why are we here? Are you miserable then? Did you forget? I forgot why we're here. I can't read the expression she makes. I hate how bad I am at interpreting Rin's mood. It's right, I'm pretty sure anyone would be bad. Even the most emotionally linked, only the most, like, emotional person who can, look at these people like that would not be able to read her. She doesn't answer right away, as if she herself isn't quite certain of her own mood. The blank stare changes into a more difficult expression as she shuffles her weight around. Finally coming to a conclusion, Rin shrugs her shoulders. I've grown to seriously dislike that gesture. It doesn't mean anything. Maybe I just kind of feel like I'm sinking underwater. I don't know what I should do. I don't know where I should go, that's all. Maybe it's not a big deal, but I thought walking might help. Kind of like if I go somewhere, I wouldn't know where I should go. I don't really know if it did. It really would have made sense if walking had helped to decide where to go. So you don't want to try to get an exhibition, or rather, you don't know if you do. Can't decide. Rin doesn't say anything for a while, arranging her thoughts in silence. The quiet is broken by bird song from somewhere in the treetops, followed by rustling leaves as the bird takes flight. Maybe. I'm not sure if I can have a thing like that. So far I've only painted for myself. I don't think I could have things on display that way I am now. This me couldn't do it. This me? Her reasons sound like a weak excuse. I make my trademark frown, but she doesn't notice it. I don't get it. Trademark frown. I trademarked that frown. You try and do it, I will sue you. Copyright infringement. I don't get it. The teacher certainly thinks you could. I don't think he'd suggested otherwise. Sounds like he's calling in favors from his friends, too. I know. He's really done a lot for me, but this might be too much. Becoming someone who can do it might be pretty hard. Maybe I couldn't do it after all. He can't do it for me, and if I let him try, I'd just sink deeper and deeper. Rin stands in front of the large maple and turns away from me. I want to close the few feet of distance between us, and I don't know how. My irritation is suddenly gone, and I start feeling sympathetic to her. I know exactly how you feel. Well, maybe I don't, but still. I think I haven't felt like I was actually in control of my own life this whole year. I'm just helplessly going along with the flow. Oh, he's like, let's make this about me, Rin. I know you're having some issues here, but let's talk about me and how I feel like I don't have any control. Okay. It's my favorite subject. Hisao's favorite subject. Himself. Like coming here to this school, I didn't really choose it myself, and I certainly didn't choose this time of my life to learn that I have this condition. I still can't actually say the word aloud. It's like, yeah, he's like, I just don't know how to say it. I don't know what that means. It's like, yeah, it's exactly like being underwater. Like, I can't even breathe. Rin's turned to face me again, a sad expression on her face. Is that why you look so sad all the time? I don't want to look sad like you. Do I look to you like you look to me? I don't look sad all the time. I just don't know what I should be feeling. What kind of face I should be making. That sounds like depression. You don't really understand how to feel. You're like, is this the face? It's like, oh, someone's just saying something sad. I better make this face. Am I doing the right phase? I can't tell. Me neither. Do I look sad now? Not really. You look like you always do, I think. But I'm sinking. I should try to float up like a rubber duck. Quack, quack. All yellow and creepy. Quack, quack. All yellow and creepy. It's like something out of a horror film. I would like to float like a rubber duck. Quack, quack. All yellow and creepy. I have to think for a few seconds about which direction I should pursue in this conversation. Then I realize it doesn't matter. You think rubber ducks are creepy? You don't? I think they look very creepy. Everything that has eyes but isn't alive is very disturbing. Like rubber ducks and reflections in mirrors. She plops down on the forest bed, leaning on the maple she named the worry tree. After wondering what to do for a minute, I sit down too, 3 feet apart from her. The forest envelops us in its embrace, and its stillness falls upon the two of us. We sit there without speaking for a long while. I can literally feel the time passing. Patches of sunlight litter the small clearing in a pattern that echoes the maple canopies. One of them falls directly on me, warming me all the way to the bone. Warning me? I wonder what I could do for myself. Maybe for Rin. For now, I just keep watching her from the distance. Sometimes she cranes her neck all the way back, so much that it looks almost painful, and stares up at the small patch of sky visible past the canopy of the worry tree. Sometimes she just stares blankly ahead, as if seeing something just beyond her reach. Just keeps whispering to herself, but so quietly that I can't hear her, even though I'm sitting right next to her. I only see her lips moving, like she was in the middle of a distant dream. I realize that right now, I no longer feel any of the intense loneliness I feel at night, just before falling asleep. I might be more like Rin than I thought. I can either give up and stay submerged under the weight of all the crap in my life. I'm drowning under crap. Literally. Help. Or I try to change myself for the better. Her decision is different, yet the same. And unlike her, I know for sure that I can't stay like this forever. I have to change. I want to be more like Emmy. I want to be more like Rin. I'd say I want to be more like Rin. I mean, I personally would like to be more like Emmy, but I think you should probably say I want to be more like Rin. Rin could probably do it, even though she seems to doubt herself. I have no doubts about her strength. She could do it, even if she can't. It makes me feel a bit better too. And I lean back against the tree, breathing out deeply as if for the first time in a long time. We stay that way in the small clearing until the angle of sun changes and the chilly shadows deep. I gotta say, the choices in this are really bizarre. No longer warm where we sit, we leave the forest, returning along the same path we took coming in. It doesn't seem like Rin has come to a decision. I wonder if it was a bad idea for me to come along. It's alright. I don't mind. I'm sure the trees and dirt and rocks won't mind either. Did you mind? No, not at all. I think it helped me too. While we walk back towards the dormitories, the sky is changing to a deep ultramarine. The first summer stars twinkle soft. Stars? God damn it! What is wrong with me? I can't read. Twinkle softly from between spots in the canopy, barely visible like tiny fireflies. I become very self-conscious about Rin's presence. Oh god. I haven't thought much about girls since the things fell apart with Awanako. This is kind of the same situation as then, but to be honest, I don't think it really counts for much, not with Rin. And yet, it feels good walking next to her, even if it isn't anything more than this. At first, I think Rin agitated me quite a bit with her unpredictable behaviour, but recently, I feel like I haven't had to be on my toes so much. I've managed to let myself go a little, put on a little bit of weight, you know. Makes me feel satisfied, even though ultimately I think it's more thanks to Rin than myself. She seems to be disinterested in a huge number of things, but something in her makes me try harder than I normally would. It's not that I want to impress her. I think that truly impressing Rin would take near superhuman efforts just because of how she is. Instead, it's because there is relentless feeling inside of me that I shouldn't let Rin down. It's really weird. I wonder why I started thinking like that. I don't even know what sort of expectations she has about pretty much anything. So how could I let her down? Rin has this unassuming air around her, and she doesn't really talk about stuff very often. Even today's confession of her self-doubt caught me a little bit off guard. I feel like I want to talk more with her, yeah. I'm doubting that I'm saying the right words now. The realization suddenly dawns on me that Rin is basically the only person I talk to nowadays, apart from whatever I have to endure from Shizune, Misha, or Kenji. I feel slightly depressed. I'm like, oh man, Rin? Ugh. In front of the dormitories, as if summoned by my dark thoughts, run into Kenji himself. It feels very odd seeing him outside, breathing fresh outdoor air. At least it's already dusk. I partially expect Kenji would disintegrate upon direct exposure to the sun. Kenji himself seems insecure, very insecure as well, standing around looking like he's waiting for something, but doesn't know himself what it might be. Hey Kenji, what are you doing? Hello. Who are you? Oh my god, who are you? It's me, Hisao. I'm not sure if you know Tezuka from Class 3-4. From his face, I can see not only he doesn't know Rin, but he also can't see her from this short distance. Oh, what's up, dude? Kenji sticks his hand enthusiastically forwards, almost straight into Rin's stomach. Kalima! Oh no, he's the stomach, so it's something else. It's like... Rin looks at his outstretched hand in confusion, until Kenji clears his throat and retracts the hand. There's something almost cool that he manages to do with social awkwardness. It's not like I'm the most suave man on the planet, but I don't think I'll ever be able to even approach Kenji's level. Man, Kenji's so suave. I think I respect Kenji a bit more. So you're waiting for someone? He leans closer and lowers his voice to an agitated whisper. I see his facial muscles twitching. Well, man, you know I can't talk about stuff here in public. They might be listening. I'm gonna have to pick up some stuff from somewhere, and I don't want those snooping student council hags to get on my case. Also, I don't trust your friend. I mean, personal. You sure he's trustworthy? I briefly considered telling Kenji about Rin's gender, but as it might end up badly for one or both of them, I decided against it. Yeah, I'm sure. He turns from me to Rin, and I immediately get the feeling that I have to prevent them from talking to each other with whatever means necessary. Yeah, this would be a weird conversation. However, there is little I can do now apart from physical violence. Just punch Kenji. I will curb stomp Kenji and then steal Rin away. In that case, would you be interested in knowing about the worst threat to mankind since they invented vegetarianism? He sounds like a vacuum cleaner salesman. What a really awful pitch. I thought it was Sunday. I see you're not in the know. Yeah, man, I'm talking about man-eating cows here. Very few people know what I know, so I'm not surprised. We can't talk here, but if you'd like a pamphlet, come to my room after curfew on Mondays or Wednesdays. What? You have pamphlets? He suddenly reaches to his pocket and draws out a ballpoint pen, and what looks like a convenience store receipt. Kenji furiously scribbles on the scrap of paper and then thrusts it towards Rin. Here's a password. Memorize it, and then eradicate any trace of this document. Eat it, burn it, dissolve it in acid, whatever. I take the receipt from Kenji, as Rin is unable to do so, and glance at it. It's indeed a receipt, apparently for 2 rice bowls and 5 boxes of matches. I hope he's not planning to burn anything down. I'm gonna burn it all down. On the other side is written just one word. Honey muffin. honey muffin! I show it to Rin too, but she shows no reaction. Thank you. Yo, Sal, you still in that club? The Club of Dark Arts? Fine art. Anyway, yeah, actually, just had a meeting today. Still got your wits about you? No shady mind tricks going on? Nothing personal, man, but I have to be on top of things. Can't get caught up with my pants down. Speaking of which, you should really take showers a bit later. Gotta respect that personal space. Nothing personal. What? Kenji looks around as if he heard something, and then straightens his jacket. Okay, I gotta scoot now before it gets too late. Later, dudes. Good luck. Kenji takes off rapidly towards the main gate. Rin looks after him, frowning. We watch after Kenji's diminishing figure in silence. What's wrong with him? Technically speaking, I think he's legally blind. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. What a nice ending. Ah. Nom, 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 nom. I can immediately tell from the envelope that it's not about official matters of any sort. What? Did we skip someone then? What's happening? Someone actually wrote me an old-fashioned handwritten paper letter. Who bothers doing something like that in this day and age? Anyway. Yet, as unlikely as the prospect of receiving one sounds, there's definitely a letter lying on my desk. The classes for the day are over, still feeling pretty full from the big lunch that I had unexpectedly eaten at the cafeteria. I returned to my dorm, planning on finishing my homework and probably skip dinner, or at least just eating light. I feel like I need to eat less than I used to. Maybe I don't use that much energy now, that I don't do much beyond reading. However, the letter on my desk has naturally caught my interest. It's the first bit of mail I've received since received here at Yamaku, so it feels special, even if it wasn't something as rare as a handwritten letter. What causes me even more trepidation is the name of the sender written neatly on the back of the envelope. Iwanako. I've got no idea why she would write to me. I haven't been in contact with anyone from my old school since I transferred, and Iwanako is the last person I'd expect to want to write me a letter. The last time I saw Iwanako was terribly awkward. Embarrassingly so. She came to my hospital room, peeled me an apple out of courtesy, and then we practically sat in silence for half an hour. She said goodbye and didn't look me in the eye when she closed the door. It might have been a natural end to the series of visits that were probably pretty painful for both of us. I've already done this bit in various different paths. Every time she visited me in the hospital, I wanted to talk to her, but something stopped me every time. Every time I didn't speak made the next time even harder. Iwanako always had this aura of fragility around her, as if she'd shatter into pieces at the slightest disturbance. Initially, I think it might have been the delicacy that attracted me to her, but after what happened back then, it felt as if she was really shattered. She looked so sad that I didn't want to say anything that might upset her. And I never could figure out the right words to say. I told her that it wasn't her fault. She nodded, and I really think she understood that if it hadn't been that, then sooner or later something else would have made my heart give out. Yet she looked so hopeless and hopelessly sad every time she opened that door and entered my room. So I never managed to say the things I wanted to say. In the end, that might have hurt her even more. Carefully, I opened the envelope and drew out the folded letter from within. I wonder what his reaction will be this time. Dear Hisao, how are you? I hope your new... Oh, God. I'll read this again. How are you? I hope you are well and happy at your new school. Everyone here misses you. Almost all of our second class has got put together in Class 3-1 for the final year, so we're pretty comfortable right from the beginning of the year. Deja vu. I'm sure you would have been assigned to this class as well. The mood among the third year seems to be very anxious about the final exams, even though they are so far away. The teachers are badgering us about it all the time. Even old Tachibana, who is, by the way, our homeroom teacher this year. Would you believe it? I was sure he'd retire after our second year. But here he is, nagging everyone about studying for exams. I think things like that are the main reason why the mood among the third years is so nervous. I must admit that I'm somehow losing confidence in myself as well, even though I've always fared reasonably well in exams. It's so weird to think we are already seniors, isn't it? Time has really flown past, and I wonder where it went. The new first year seems so young and somehow really innocent. I keep wondering if I was like that like them in my first year. I've been feeling nostalgic like this for the whole first trimester. There are other things I want to say. I'm writing to you because I felt like there are things I should have said after the accident back in winter. I really regret that I wasn't able to say them in person, and I have no excuse for it. The truth is, the times when I visited you in the hospital made me worried about you. I'm not talking about your health. You seem to become more distant and disheartened. It was natural after something like that happened, I'm sure, but somehow I got the feeling that you've just given up on something back then. Happiness, maybe? I wanted to somehow express my feelings, but the right words didn't come to me. I couldn't say anything to comfort you. I am really sorry for not being able to support you when it mattered the most. Even though I like you so much. At least now, finally, I can be more honest. If I could go back to those quiet days in February and March, I'd tell you not to give up on yourself. That's what I'd say. Maybe you wouldn't have drifted so far away if I just said something. I hope you managed to get back on your feet on your own. Now that the distance between us is also physical, it also feels more final somehow. I wonder if we will meet again. Perhaps it's for the best if we don't. Still, if you would like to correspond with me, by all means write me back. I'd very much like to hear about your new school and how you are doing. I wish you all the best. Sincerely, Iwanako. After finishing reading the letter, I fold it like it was and place it on my desk. I don't know what to think of this. I feel empty and confused. He sounds really depressed in this path. Why now? After all this time? Just yesterday I decided that I can't let myself stay like this, that I'd try to get on top of my own life. Reading this letter just reminds me of what it could have been. Of course, I wish I didn't have to be here. I don't want to be in the same class of Iwanako again. Maybe we could talk every now and then and go on dates. My life didn't go like that. I didn't really need to be reminded of this. Iwanako needed to write this letter for her own sake, and I'm glad for her that she could. But it would have been better if I hadn't read it. Of course she's right. I thought of the same thing yesterday. I'd fallen into a pit of depression, and now I have to try to climb out. I rip out a page from my notebook, and after a moment of thinking how to frame the words from the, I write a short reply to Iwanako. Oh, he actually writes it out. I find it difficult to be really honest, but at least I try to appear somewhat convincing. I don't write to her about Yamaku at all. I doubt she will write me again, but I don't feel sad about it. I fold my own letter to her, and as I have no envelope, set it next to Iwanako's. I'll mail it to her later. Then I lie back on my bed, looking at the monotone, grey ceiling. A bird sings outside of my window, and a sudden gust of wind flutters my curtains. The summer afternoon feels still, as if time had stopped for a brief moment. I think about all the things I've lost and will never regain. Jesus. This guy is a riot. This guy is a fun riot. I want to party with this guy. Just think about all the fun times we could have together. Thus, the languid days of mid-June pass by. I mail my letter to Iwanako and receive no reply. Having decided to ditch the old me, I start observing my fellow students even closer than I did before, hoping to understand how other people cope with their own issues. I start seeing things that I didn't before, and it makes me wonder if I've been wrong twice. Superficially, everyone is abnormal, yet so strikingly normal that it shocked me at first. I admired the way my new schoolmates turned my prejudices around just like that, simply by being themselves. Now that I've gotten used to it, I begin noticing other kinds of tones in the people surrounding me every day. There's this soft, numb sadness all around me. I can see the effort everyone has to make just to get through the day and how it weighs on their shoulders like it weighs on my... Jesus Christ! I'm just trying to be happy. What was that thing I showed you last time? Was it a Lego guy? I don't know where the Lego guy is. He's gone. Here's a mascot for the Beijing Olympics back in 2008. Even the brightest smile is just subdued. Every outburst of annoyance just slightly dampened. It's subtle, but it's definitely there. I try to think of what it means, what I can learn from others. I wonder if deep down everyone is as lost as I am.
Yeah, everyone's as lost as I am. Woo.
Careful there.
Ooh, ow, ooh, ooh,
Is there even one person in here who has truly found peace? I start to feel doubtful about myself once again. I can't decide whether these people are happy or unhappy, or if they just learned to cope and now live in this unfeeling limbo like I did all spring. I escape from these feelings into the towering pile of books I carried to my room from Yuko's sanctuary. After realizing that this will just shut me down even more, I start going to the art club room more often, usually whenever I can. Rin too seems to spend more time in there than in her own classroom. I've often seen her totter towards the door at the very end of the corridor. The wooden door and the room behind it, smelling of paint and paper, seem to mean more to her than the rest of the world combined. She says she has special permission to use the room, which I don't doubt at all. I don't think Nomiya would deny Rin anything. Nomi. He seems to dote on her like an uncle upon a favourite niece. The object of his affection, however, has no favourites. She says she appreciates the teacher a lot for going the extra mile for his sake. But even when she says that, her expression is always the same. It's the same as always. God damn it. It's as if she was talking about a particularly unremarkable rock that she saw the other day. I can't really figure out their relationship. Rin doesn't seem to let anyone close. I don't think even Emmy could say she's crossed that gap that seemed to separate Rin from the rest of the world. I don't understand it. She seems so indifferent, yet so passionate at the same time. Somewhere the school bell rings the last call of the day. I realise I've been zoning out for who knows how long. Dazed, I sit up straighter, trying to look as inconspicuous as possible. The pungent smells of linseed oil and turpentine mix in my nostrils as I draw a deep breath. I feel drowsy and lightheaded. It's already this late, and a few club members left early, so it's just me, Rin, the teacher, and two other girls who are about to leave. Rin is sitting to my right. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna stop here. Oh god, what is with... Look at the freaky pictures! Man, she does the creepiest art, honestly. Anyway, I think I'm going to end it there. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed another episode of Katawa Shoujo. I have been Millbee. This has been Katawa Shoujo. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. I did. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.